My wife started putting on some noticeable weight. She told me she was sorry and she would go on a diet. I told her not to get too stressed out about it and that I'd support her and even go on a diet with her. A week later, though, she quits and continues to put on more weight. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story that's definitely set a firestorm off on Reddit. Title: I cheated on my fat wife and I'm proud of it. And as you guys can imagine, given the title of the story, lots and lots of feathers were ruffled and a lot of blood boiling from the Reddit community, especially the female Reddit community. It's about a guy who's married for 3 years to his wife, and about a year and a half into the marriage, she starts ballooning up. And in the beginning, you're going to see that she was apologetic about it and wanted to do something about it. And he was very much supportive and helpful, trying to help her and all that. But real quick, you're going to see that goes to where she flips the script and starts blaming him. And even though he was trying to help her, labeling him all these nasty things like a fat shamer and all that, and stirring up all these problems. And it reaches the point that he's had enough. And he's also, you're going to see, fearful that if he divorces her, she's going to accuse him of a lot of things. So he ends up cheating. It goes that far, and he says he's basically proud of it, given what happened. Now, I've always made it clear, I don't think cheating is cool at all, both sides, men and women. And at the end of the day, if it's that bad, you should divorce them and move on. And so I'm not cool with that. But given how this thing goes, I can kind of, on some level, see why he was pushed that far to want to do that. I just don't think you should have. But ultimately, guys, you're going to see here, this is an example of 3 things. Number 1, how when people get married, a lot of times people will let themselves go. And once you're in the marriage, you're in a tough spot as a guy. Because if you take care of yourself and work out and want to look good and look healthy, and your wife decides, I got a ring on my finger, he ain't going anywhere because otherwise he'll be creamed in the divorce court. So I'm going to let myself go. That stuff can happen. And that definitely ain't cool. Another thing is how pretty much when nowadays, if you're in a relationship and if, let's just say, your girl, your wife, your fiance puts on a bunch of weight and you want her to lose it, how much hate you're going to get for wanting her to lose weight. How our society has gone. Amongst many other things. And also simply this is, honestly, don't cheat. Just end it. Don't cheat. Now, I'm going to go through this story here, guys, and then at the end, I'm going to read the comments because the people that were commenting against this guy were losing their freaking minds. They weren't paying attention to the fact that he was trying to help her. They weren't paying attention to how psycho she was acting. They're just focused on the fact he cheated and, God forbid, didn't love her even if she was, 300 pounds. So it starts off, he says here, I know, this seems bad, but hear me out. I, a 30-year-old male, have been married to my wife for more than over 3 years when this all started happening. I thought at first I found my soulmate, but about a year and a half ago, everything changed. How many people been in that situation? They get married, everything's all magical, and it's a freaking movie, and then they start seeing the true colors. And it can go both ways. My wife started putting on some noticeable weight. She told me she was sorry and she would go on a diet. I told her not to get too stressed out about it and that I'd support her and I'd even go on a diet with her. Okay, you hear that? Don't get too stressed out. I'm there to support you. Hell, I'll even go on a diet too. It doesn't sound like this guy anywhere close to being the size that she got. Okay? A week later, though, she quits and continues to put on more weight. She starts ordering like 2 or 3 things on the menu when we go out to eat, and she starts buying a bunch of unhealthy stuff from the grocery store. Okay, I'm a personal trainer, and the hardest thing I have had is to get people to change their diet. They'll work out with you and all that, and that's cool, but if you ask them to change the way they eat or drink, they look at you like you're asking them to give up their firstborn child. Trust me, and you trainers out there know what I'm talking about. And right here, all of a sudden, boom, here we go. She's eating all this crappy food, ordering way more, a whole lot of extra food. What do you think's going to happen? Calories in, calories out. That's how it works. And she's bringing a whole lot of calories and bad ones in. She tries to get diagnosed with an eating disorder, but to no avail. Now, up to this point, I feel sorry for her, and I tell her I'll support her through her weight loss journey, but then she starts using her weight as an excuse. Whenever I come home from work, I talk to her about my day, but almost every single time it would turn to an argument about fat shaming. How is him talking about his day turned into an argument about fat shaming? What tells me is that, and she tried to get being labeled as an eating disorder, probably to give her a pass, but she didn't get that because she obviously didn't have one. And she's making him out to be the bad guy here. Now, again, this is coming from his perspective here. Let's just keep that in mind. But still, if this is accurate, he tried to help her. He was being supportive, and now she's making him out to be the bad guy, picking fights. Great situation. When she threw away the scale, I got pretty upset, but then she started calling me a fat shamer, and I was also a huge misogynist. When has he demonstrated any of this? At least from what he's describing. During a family gathering, she talked shit about me to her parents, and her brother Lily had to distract her. I became embarrassed to go out with her because she would always start an argument with me in public. And he was probably also embarrassed because she blew up to look like a freaking hippo. The final straw is when she hid my phone because she thought I was on it too much. After almost an hour looking, I found it under the guest bedroom blankets. So she's losing her freaking mind. And remember, he said in the beginning, I thought I found my soulmate. How many times I tell you, you guys, you get married and you think you got your soulmate, and real quick, once that ring's on her finger, it's like she goes from a Dr. Jekyll to Miss Bitch. That's what happens here. And I'm not saying that there aren't situations where a man and woman get married and the guy changes. That happens too. But this is a men's channel, so I'm going to obviously address men here in situations that affect men. She's losing her damn mind. Picking fights in public, trashing his name to the family, again, because this is from what he's saying here. He has every right to kick her to the curb. He should. This is a mess. Unfortunately, he does the thing that I don't think you should do. He says, I was so sick of it, but I didn't want to divorce her because I didn't want her to make up any fake allegations, so I decided to cheat on her. While she was on a business trip, I contacted an old college friend. She invited me over to her house, and we had you-know-what. After that, I felt great. I didn't have a hint of regret, and I walked out of the house with a huge grin on my face. Not cool, dude. I get that you hate your marriage, and you can't stand her, and she's psycho, and she's treating you awful, but guess what? Divorce her. Okay, and it says he's concerned about allegations. Now, I wish he would have elaborated more where that came from, but then again, the way she's freaking out and going psycho on him, but at the end of the day, end it. Okay, we can just stay with her and just take that, but hook her with another girl, because that makes you set yourself up to be a target by you doing that, and wait to see the comments. It's always best just to talk to a lawyer, or lawyers, find a way. When my wife got back from her business trip, I found myself much calmer and around her, and whenever she got mad at me for fat shaming or some other stupid shit, I wouldn't take her seriously anymore. I spent more time out of the house, I got a gym membership, and signed up for a recreational soccer team so I could spend as much time away from her as possible. Well, again, there's no salvaging this situation. End it. But again, I'm going to say this, at least probably, if anything good came out of him hooking up with that girl, he's a cheater, but that made him feel good about himself and realize I got options out there, and which leads to eventually what happens. 6 months ago, I finally found the courage to divorce her, and to my surprise, she was super cool about it. She let me keep the house. She didn't want any money from me. I was in disbelief. After the divorce got finalized, I got a girlfriend who's the best person ever. Safe to say things are going a lot better for me now. I have a hard time believing that it just doesn't add up that after all that, all of a sudden she was much better. He got the house, the assets, all that, no problem whatsoever. Unless she truly is losing her mind or there's some things being left out. But anyhow, guys, this is a quick example of what can happen with the bait and switch wife. Think she's great and amazing, you get married and all of a sudden she turns into a lunatic or puts on a ton of weight or decides she's no longer going to work anymore and you can't make her get a job, stuff like that. So be aware of what can happen, guys. So even if you do a very good job of vetting your girl before you get married, even then you don't know. Just got to spend a lot of time with her, get to know her family, even live with her for a while before and see what she's like if you decide to get married. But even then you don't know. But also, guys, at the end of the day, if it gets that bad, don't cheat. Don't be like the rest of these a-holes out there in the stories they do. Just end it. Because look, he ended it, and there were no false allegations or anything like that. Now, we can all get a laugh saying, ha ha, that fat a-hole got what she deserved. But If he didn't do that, then nobody would blame him for a lot of things. Now, I'm going to read some comments. And the comment section never focused on him trying to help her, and didn't focus on her yelling and screaming at him and about being a shamer and starting fights and arguments. Oh, no. The majority are women, and they're focusing on him cheating. Or they're saying there must be more going on here because pretty much, he's the total bad guy here. Or he should have stayed with her and loved her regardless of how big she got. It's always funny when women get on guys about that, saying you should love her no matter how big she gets or what happens to her physically, and be like, okay, fine. Then you stay with your guy if he decides he wants to work at a 7-Eleven the rest of his life. You should love him anyway if he decides he just wants to work at 7-Eleven and make minimum wage. Good luck with that happening. So the first comment says here, translation, this is from a woman, I'm a piece of crap husband who pressured my wife to lose weight to the point that she's stressing out and worrying 24/7 about dieting. That's the interpretation. When she failed at dieting, try when she gave up at dieting, I continued to support her by giving her more shit, making it worse until she finally broke. She realized my shitty behavior is wrong and started calling me out on it. It became the center of every single argument after that until, ultimately, I gave up and cheated on her because I'm too much of a coward to admit that I wanted to divorce my ex-wife because she gained weight and can't lose it. That's the female interpretation here. Again, if this is accurate what he described, she put on weight. He was kind about it, offered to help her out and everything, but eventually but her interpretation is the negative. He's the root of all evil. He cheated on her. That's stupid and ain't cool, but everything else, I don't see any wrong in what he did. Another woman says, what an effing a-hole. Hope she finds someone better than you because you're a piece of crap and seems like you like to belittle women. I feel bad for your current girl because you're going to do the same to her. In my opinion, you're in a relationship with a girl and you start off in that relationship and she was thin and in shape and you're thin and in shape, and all of a sudden, especially if you get married, she then lets herself go, and you can clearly see it by all of a sudden eating all sorts of garbage and overeating and all that. You got a reason to have issue with it because this is not what you signed up for. And you're not a piece of crap for losing attraction to her and eventually ending it if it goes so far. He wasn't cruel about it in the beginning. He was trying to help her, and she lost it. Another girl says, hope your new girl cheats on you with your dad. That's mature. Another one says, This just sounds like you're a bitch. You're lucky that dumbass from college even considered hooking up with you. Last time that's ever happening, enjoy being alone. He's not alone. He has another chick now. If anybody's going to be alone, it's going to be his ex, as long as she stays large and in charge. Another one says, you're an effed up human. I really hope you gain weight. You'll see how much it hurts when your loved one fat shames you. According to his description, he wasn't doing that. She was just losing her mind over the whole thing. Now, maybe there are things he's leaving out. I don't know, but still. Another one says here, this post is over a month ago, but I just want to say that you're a piece of crap. The person here says something worse. The fact that you are proud to be able to have sex with an old friend, I bet you even know you were married because I can tell you're a coward. Like, yeah, bro, woohoo for you for being a horrible significant partner. You superficial a-hole. Your ex-wife deserves better, not you. And if you truly weren't happy with her, the divorce is the thing that you should have done and should have done sooner. Well, I agree he should have divorced her, not cheated, but he's the bad guy again. By the way you tell your story makes it seem like you aren't telling the entire story of the situation so you can look good for others here. I'm going to tell you something. You think you may love your girlfriend now, but I know you love her just for her. But I know you just love her for her body. I hope that your pillow is always warm, or that you forget to pay your bills, or the same thing happens to you. Respectfully, have a nice day, a-hole. Well, you know what? If he is a guy now he said he was going to lose some weight with her in the beginning of the story. Now, I don't know how much weight. I'm assuming maybe a little bit. I don't know. But assuming this guy is a relatively fit guy, if he, again, has a girlfriend, all of a sudden just puts on a ton of weight, he has, in my opinion, he has every right to end things. Because if he's no longer attracted to her. But this is the thing that women don't get. Okay? They think the guy's a superficial jerk because he loses attraction for his girl if she puts on a ton of weight. Okay? We're the bad guys. But they're not bad guys if their guy loses his job, or maybe isn't moving up in his job fast enough or doesn't make enough money for her, and they break up with him, well, they're okay. Okay, for guys, it's looks. For women, it's status and money and things like that. Now, sure, women like guys that are in shape and look good, but we all know the priorities here. When we do something that's important to us, we're the bad guy. But if they do something like I described here, then they're innocent. Another one says here, wow, you're a total piece of crap. I hope she's living her best life without you and finds people who actually care about and support her. Well, McDonald's does, and the Happy Meals do. And I really hope your new girlfriend finds out what true colors you are, what you're like, before she gets more emotionally invested. You've been hurt out, and you are still a piece of shit. And guys, these are just a fraction. These are just a few comments. The whole thing is full of gals just like this hating on this guy. But the last one, somebody on his side. This guy says, good for you. Fat people are gross, and it's usually of their own making. Fatties, I don't care about your medical condition. Eat a calorie deficit diet and get your ass on the stair climber. So there you go. That'll be a funny one to end it. But anyhow, guys, at the end of the day, you're in a bad situation. She loses her mind. She goes nuts. She gives you a bait and switch. She puts on a whole bunch of weight when before she was thin and healthy, but she doesn't care about her body now that you're married to her and she figures you're not going anywhere. Okay? Don't cheat. Just end it. If it's that bad, just end it. But anyhow, look at the hate this guy's gotten for that. Okay, cheating ain't cool, but they're not focusing on all the other stuff. They're just focusing on that, or the fact that he's not loving her because of, how she looks. Even though, from his description, clearly let herself go. Clearly. And twisted things around and started being really nasty and harassing him and all that. Anyhow, I wish him luck. I wish her luck. I hope she loses the weight, get some help, get some counseling. It was just a mess. And hopefully none of you guys will end up in that situation. All right, guys, that was it for today. Be sure to comment down below what you think about this. And also, guys, you come across a good article or story you'd like to share, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and I will. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.